Are you looking at the home prices and you're wondering if you could really afford a home in today's market? Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Real Life Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Vekevia Jones. Let's talk about this housing market because every time that I speak with someone or open Instagram, TikTok, certain social media, or just group chats, whatever have you, somebody is saying, like, how in the world does anyone afford a house right now? People might be tired of renting, but how do you actually get into home ownership? It's as easy as it used to be. Listen, this is a very valid question. In fact, I was looking at some statistics, and back in October 2023, the median sale price for a home actually hit just over $413,000. Now, that's for luxury or like some up to do fancy type of neighborhood. That's just for the middle of the road type of home. That's like regular everyday people like you and me trying to get a home and trying to just buy maybe their first property, which we've been talking about a lot here lately on the podcast. So today I'm going to walk you through exactly what it takes to afford a home at that particular price in today's market using real numbers, real assumptions, and the same math that your lender uses. They may have some other factors that they put in there, but you know what? This is going to get you an idea of what to expect. This is your underwriter is running these numbers behind the scenes, that type of it. All right, so the reality check comes in. Before we talk about income, we need to talk about the payment because that's how lenders qualify you. And essentially, let's just break it down. It comes down to a number of things. Realistic assumptions that include things like how much you're going to put down. So let's just assume certain things for the sake of time, right? So let's assume you put 5% down and that makes your loan amount just over 393,000. Let's assume a 7% interest rate. You're in a state maybe like Florida where I am and property taxes are about 0.9%. So not the full 1%, and homeowners insurance about $180 a month. Now, I saw different varying numbers out there. Some of those might be on even just an average across the US, but we need to use some type of numbers for the sake of this video. If PMI will come into play, if you put less than 20% down, you're going to have to pay type of mortgage insurance. All right. Here's what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. So principal and interest, $2,615. Property taxes around $310, homeowners insurance $180, PMI around $150. And when you add all of that up, because your real number in terms of how much you're going to pay will include all of those, it's about $3,255 a month. So when people ask me how much income do I need to buy a home at that price or that monthly payment, the better question is, can your income support $3,255 housing payment plus whatever your monthly debts are already? Because they are going to look at that. Like whatever debt you have, that's going to come into play in terms of how much they think you actually have left in your income to actually put towards this mortgage. So that number matters. All right. So let's talk debt to income, which is your DTI. And let's look at two factors or two flavors of debt to income, if you will. So there's the front end debt to income ratio or the front end DTI. And that number is going to be your housing payment only. The lenders are also going to equate something called a back end DTI or back end debt to income ratio. And they want to look at your housing payments and all other debt. So including your other debts would be things like a car payment, student loans, credit card minimums, personal loans, all of those things. Nothing sneaky, literally whatever is on your credit report. So that matters. Now, rules around this is that for a conventional mortgage, they're going to want you under 45% of a debt to income ratio. And FHA lets you go all the way up to just under 57%. This is why some people get denied conventional, but they get approved on an FHA loan. It's not personal, it's just math. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty. This is the part you've been waiting for. What is the income needed to buy a house that's just under $414,000, which you said was the average home price? All right, to comfortably afford that $3,255 monthly payment, most people need this. They need between $95,000 and $110,000 in annual household income. Here's how that shakes out. So if you have no other debts, you typically need about $108,000 in income. But if you have normal debts, let's say it's about $300 to $500 a month, if you're looking more like $97,000 to $100,000 in income, but if your debts are much higher than that, then the income required goes. And this right here is why couples making $100,000 together often feel like, why is it so hard? What are we doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. a $3,200 mortgage or ish mortgage, right? I think you said it was a little bit more than that, is a real grown up bill. It's heavy and the math reflects that. All right. So what if you're buying with another person? Okay. So the question that I get all the time is, Vekevia, does having someone else on the loan help? And the answer is usually yes, más o menos, 6, 7, but not always because lenders combine people's incomes and they combine their debts. That's the thing. So let's say you're borrower A and you're thinking about adding your spouse or borrower B, right? And they make $60,000 a year. And let's say they don't have any other debt. That might be great. But what if they have $700 extra of debt that's going to be added to the debt you already have? Yes, they're going to combine your income, but they're also going to combine the debt. So it really just depends if the second borrower, what position they're in terms of their own income and debt. So now let's focus on the FHA versus conventional reality, right? There's a reality check here. And just I'm being real with you. For a lot of first time homebuyers, FHA is going to be the one that gets you in the door. And the reason that I say that is that FHA essentially allows your debt to income to be a bit higher. If your income is solid, but your debt push your DTI too high, FHA will approve you more so than conventional will. Does FHA mean worse? No, doesn't mean worse. It just means accessible. And listen, I house hacked my very first home using FHA. In fact, and a year out of college, rented out a room. That home became the foundation of everything I've built since. So entry level loans are stepping stones, not permanent labels. There's nothing wrong with an FHA loan. All right, so let me give you some encouragement and offer some realistic next steps. I don't want you to focus too much on, oh man, maybe I have too much debt. Here's what I want you to walk away with. So number one is if the median home price feels intimidating to you, or you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? You're not alone. Number one, it's not that you're bad with money. It's not that you're failing. It's just that times have changed and literally it's so much worse. Okay. But there's hope and there are options. And we talk about so many of them. And knowing your numbers is really important, knowing your debt to income, comparing FHA versus conventional, even at a high price point, you can still do this. And people are buying homes every single day. So I know it's possible. The people who win at this, they understand the math and then they just move forward on purpose, right? You just have to have a plan and be strategic and move forward. You can do it. If this helps you understand what it really takes to afford a home in today's market, make sure to follow, subscribe, and share this with someone else who might be feeling overwhelmed with the numbers. This is Real Life Planning, where we turn real numbers into real possibilities. I'm your host, Vekevia, and remember, wealth is built in real life by real people making real moves. I'll see you on the next episode.